think about this, and I don't know how old you are, but in the last 40 years, I'll say this: in the last 40 years, the presence of a man has started to evaporate, and it evaporates because we as men supposed to be the forebearers. We're supposed to be the forerunners. But when we're not, I always say this: if you're not encouraged in everything you do, then you feel like you're continuing to search for more. You wanting more because you want to hear you did good. You want to hear that. You want to hear that what you're doing is worth it. And whether it be good or bad, because every experience is a learning experience. But if we don't teach our kids when they do wrong, Bill Cosby, when Theo was smoking a cigarette, he didn't get mad at him. Guess what he said? Go on and smoke another, go on and smoke it. And then he explained to him, because now when that kid ain't around you, they gonna think about what you said, because now in front of you, they've done what you said don't do. So when they with their friends, they're gonna say, "Man, my dad had me smoke a cigarette. That thing nasty." We ain't doing that. We encouraging our kids, and then we turning around and purchasing this stuff for them. We can't do that. We got to tell them all the hazards to what life is when they're not doing right, and explain to them the hazards and what those hazards could lead to. That's a legacy, because your name is attached to what you leave behind. And most people feel legacy is monetary. It's not. To me, legacy is knowledge. How can I help you? And I tell my kids this: I may not have what you want, but I'm going to get you the answer you need. And long as you are my child, my job is to help you connect for the answers you need if I can't provide them. We got to tell our kids that, where our kids don't go to somebody else and look for that answer. And if I don't have it, one of my other friends I know, because they know me, they ain't gonna tell my kids the opposite of what I'm gonna tell them. They gonna tell them in a manner where they say, "Okay, I can't tell him because he thinking like my dad." But if you get too many people that are around your kids, even when you're not present, they gonna respect the fact that somebody that's an adult wants the best for them. And as long as you put your kids around people that want the best, they're going to always be mindful of everything you said. They might not tell you, but they're going to always be mindful, because they know that if they can't talk to you, my one of my kids was, he was struggling with homosexuality. And I was like shocked, because he never told me, but he told a friend of mine. And a friend came to me and said, "Man, you talk to your son about XYZ." So I walked up to him and said, "Hey, how you doing today?" "I'm doing all right." I say, "You want to tell me what's going on?" My son just started crying. I said, "What you crying for?" And he explained, "Hey, some guys at school keep calling me gay, so I wanted to know what gay was like." And I was like, "Well, every day I ask you how you doing, and you never would tell me." But you would not think that somebody else that you thought you can get away with it would allow you to do it. We got to put our kids in position like that around people when we're not even around. That's not going to just let our kids do it just because they're watching our kids. So we got to be careful on who we call friends, because our friends can go around other people that allow them to do stuff that you are against, and they'll keep it quiet. So I think it's very important that we pass that information on to our kids. If your kid know you hang around this certain person, and this certain person lifestyle is different than yours, they gonna always want to go around that friend of yours, because that friend gonna keep it quiet, ain't gonna tell you. And then your kid gonna eventually say, "Well, your friend Johnny always go to his house," and you know what Johnny do. You know, but you introduce your son to Johnny. So I always say, introduce your kids to people that you know that has the same vision, the same mindset as you, because they're gonna look out for your kids as if they their own kids. When you hang around people who let their kids run loose, do whatever they want to do, guess what? You inviting your kids to that same lifestyle. And we got to change that.
Yeah, you're right about that. Kids are like sponges. They very observant. They clinging on to everything. And like you say, you might tell your kids go to bed early, eat fruits and vegetables, and they go over somebody else's house. They eat candy, stay up late. Of course, they gonna go for that. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then when they get older, they may appreciate it, but it may be too late in some instances. But you had touched on something about the man not being in the home, like by me traveling a lot, just from my perspective, like you go to Africa or Latin America, even Asia, you know what I'm saying? The gender roles are more defined, they're more rigid. The men are more masculine, the women are more feminine. The women, want to be feminine, they want to be married, they want to be, have a family. And, the men, they want to be the provider, they want to be the head of the house. So it seemed like when you come back to America, it's just a lot harder to find your way. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot more obstacles, especially in our community, because we, like you said, a lot of the men is not even around to begin with because of the murders, because of the prisons, because of the drugs, and then whatever else may happen to them that may not qualify them to be in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the women is forced to step up to certain roles. Not It's not their fault or nothing, but you know what I'm saying, historically, racially, you got more women that's head of household, more women that's making more money, more women that got more businesses, more women that's independent. You know what I'm saying? But that's affecting our community, as we can see.